Hey everybody, it's Ned Talks. Welcome back again. Radion's here once again. We're here to talk about how much income do you need before you quit your job? And we think, or at least I hope we think, that it's probably pretty personal. It probably varies person to person. What do you think, Radion?
Yeah, it's definitely personal. It's there's a lot of variables there. So depending on, what kind of job you have, do you like your job, how much you make at your job, there's many variables, and then where you are in your real estate investing journey or your investing journey in general. So there's a lot of variables there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest one, and the reason I brought this up, so I've always heard people say that it's like 60% or whatever percentage that people tend to 65% of people live paycheck to paycheck. And so I was like, that can't be true. I
Yeah,
looked
it's
it up.
so wild. It's so wild to think about it.
And it's Fortune magazine said 50% of people making 100K or more are paycheck to paycheck. And then the other number I found was 55 to 65% of just people in general live paycheck to paycheck. So it doesn't
Hmm.
seem to become, it becomes a little less bad of a problem as pay goes up. But you
Yeah,
would think that someone making more money would be better with money. But
yeah.
apparently the ability to
It
make
doesn't
money
matter.
doesn't mean you're in fact good with money. What do you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about
So I would have thought the same thing. I would have thought, well, if you make a little bit more, then you can take care of your priorities, and then you have some money to play with, save a little bit, live a normal life, not paycheck to
yeah,
paycheck. But that
yeah.
seems to not be the case. So
But it doesn't do that.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
55 to 65%, it only drops to 50%.
Mhm.
So that's like maybe a 10%, maybe 10 to 20% reduction with higher.
Yeah.
That's
So
got to
that tells
be
me that this is just a mindset thing, I guess, or just a lifestyle thing that
well,
people
it's
are doing.
got to be lifestyle creep because you got to get the fancy new car. You
Mhm.
got to move in the new neighborhood.
Yep, yep. So it's
So
it's not about how much you're making. Basically, it's about how much you're keeping, right? Or I guess saving.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I work in some industries where there's pretty high income, so oil and gas and insurance and stuff. And I've seen people that make six, maybe even seven figures plus and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's pretty clear in a lot of cases that unless they're making way more money than I think, a lot of people seem to be on the edge because the people that you would think that have all the nice things and big cars and all that stuff seem to sweat a little more than you would think they would when things get rough because maybe they haven't saved up as much dry powder as you would think. And
Yeah, so
that's
lifestyle creep, yeah.
yeah, I think that's lifestyle creep, and I think it can get you no matter where you are because
Hmm.
there's always bigger and better toys.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, for me, for example, I don't exactly know that I'm going to quit my job when I reach my goal of 10,000 a month with real estate, and then that's just an arbitrary number. It doesn't really mean
Yeah,
anything. It's just a number I chose, right? I want to achieve that monthly. That will allow me to quit. So it will basically replace my personal income. It's not going to replace my wife's. But am I going to
yeah,
quit my job? I don't know. I couldn't give you that answer now. That's the goal. That's the goal at some point. But there's a lot of variables, like I said in the beginning. Depends on where I am also at my job. Like, am I doing the same thing? Did I get promoted? Am I doing some different projects? Or, maybe I just want to start working for myself, doing the same thing that I'm doing at my job, with real estate on the side. So I couldn't tell you if I'm going to quit or when I should quit, but I will be able to quit, and I think that's the thing that I'm trying to reach. That's the goal, having the ability and the
yeah.
choice.
And there's also the it gives you the ability to take a risk with the company you work for. If you like them, maybe you can be entrepreneurial in the company. They call it
Yeah. Yeah.
entrepreneurship.
Hmm.
A lot of people have done really well doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I definitely see myself doing that
take a
with
little less pay for some equity or
Mhm.
an equity in a new business or venture that they launch or something like that.
You
Where
take over just one project, and then you have more responsibility and become, I guess, like a part owner or whatever you want to call it, right? There's many ways to do it.
yeah, because you can be willing to take a little less pay if that
Mhm.
less pay gives more budget or gives the product more time to become profitable. you can take that risk. Whereas if you don't have this degree of margin and side hustle income or real
Yep.
estate income in this case, you wouldn't have the margin or the ability to do that without putting stress on your household.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only way you can do that is if you've got some degree of savings and you're smart with your money and not burning it all.
Yeah, I mean, I try to have about a year of
Yeah,
just emergency fund. So if anything happens,
that's
then
very wise.
I'll be able to live the same way that I'm living now. Now, I'll probably be able to live even more because if, for example, I lost my job somehow, then I'm gonna squeeze even more. You know, I'm not gonna be living the same as I live now.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that will extend it even more. But I like to have that cushion there, and then the rest of the money is just,
yeah.
waiting to put into real estate. So
So when you set obviously we're talking about how much income do you need before you can quit your job. And
mhm.
so obviously for me, I am conservative. So I'm probably gonna shoot for a way bigger number. So for me, I'm like, all right, I need 4 or 5x whatever I make, which I don't know, maybe I'll end up feeling comfortable at 2 or 3x because maybe my portfolio will be big enough and stable enough. But in my mind, I'm like, the number is so big. And I want it to, in my mind, I want to feel so far away from it that I feel pressure to save harder. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Whereas if it
Okay.
was like, oh yeah, I could do that in like a year or two at my current pace, I probably wouldn't save that extra dime. I probably would go on that extra vacation. I probably
Yep.
wouldn't, get the fancier car or whatever. How do you
Yeah.
think about that? Do you prefer to go for a stretch goal, or do you think your 10,000 is you put that
Mhm.
there to be more comfortable because that fits your mindset a little better? What was
Okay. So yeah. So let me be a little clear on that. Now, when I say I want to reach 10,000 a month, right? I don't mean I'm going to reach that and then forget about everything and then just drop, go to on an island, just chill out all day. I'm saying that because it's a relatively small number when it
yeah,
comes to investing in real estate. It will replace my personal income and
yeah,
a little bit more. But then after that, I'm gonna have all this freedom and freedom of choice, which is what I'm actually looking for to either continue growing my real estate because obviously I want to have 20K, 30, 40, 50 a month, and just keep growing and just keep
yeah.
doing real estate. But this is the first initial step, the first goal. It's that, and then
And you're talking net, right?
yeah, yeah, I'm talking net.
Net,
Yep,
net.
net. So
Okay,
this is all profit.
interesting.
And then once I reach that, then I can either continue working, continue growing the real estate, doing both. It's something that decision that I'll make when the time comes. But I'm not saying that I'm stopping there. I definitely want to go for more. But it's and also for beginners who are watching my channel, for example, it's a little bit more achievable, I would say, and it just feels good to me. Like when I think about it daily, 10K. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. That's like I don't know, maybe like 4 more properties or something like that. It's achievable
Yeah,
beginner.
yeah.
So
I
yeah,
think
that's why I have that.
I think my initial goal was probably something around what yours is, and then
Mhm.
as I got deeper in the game, I was like, well, that was a way lower bar than I thought I was setting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I guess we could go a couple rungs higher, So
Yeah,
I
and
don't know.
I already feel that now. So like I look at all these because there's a lot of Instagram like couples and like investors who are doing this and then they put this in their bio like 20K a month, trying to achieve this or like $50 or something like that, And I'm like, man, what is this tiny, tiny goal I have over here, So I
Yeah,
already feel that now, but I know that it's just got to compare myself to myself and then grow from
yeah.
there.
Don't compare yourself to others, but also at the same time, you got to remember a lot of people that are posting numbers are sneaky. They'll say,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah,
I'm shooting for 30," and you're like, "Yeah, but in that area, your 30 is probably more like a net two."
yeah.
Something like that where
Yeah,
you can be sneaky with numbers when you start talking gross versus net versus yield, and you can
mhm.
move stuff around. If you
Yeah,
poke at a
absolutely.
spreadsheet enough, you can start making it say some pretty funny things.
Yeah, and
So
how do you see yourself, and when would you quit, or would you even quit, or
it sounds weird, but initially my reason for getting into real estate was I wanted the flexibility to not need my income so that I could be more aggressive in the workplace. Maybe
Yeah. You want that choice, just like we talked about, right? Yeah.
I like the choice, but I kind of look at it as more of an entrepreneurial. It gives me
Okay.
the ability to be more aggressive inside the business I already work in.
Okay.
I can say, hey, I don't want. How about this? Don't pay me for a year. I'd rather equity in that deal.
Hmm.
Um, hey, I only want to be paid on performance.
That's great.
And I'm thinking more like an executive, but and that's where I want to go and where I want to be.
Hmm.
Um, and for me, I think if you need the paycheck, in some cases, if you're pushing for something in an office, you're going to make the wrong decision for the business because your uh your needs and the business's needs are in opposition of each other.
Yep. And
You know
so
what I mean?
that's great that you're saying that, because it gets me thinking about my job and what I could look for there when I reach my real estate goal. So that's
Yeah.
something to think about for sure.
Because I mean, think about like let's say let's just make a bare bones example. Let's say your boss is like, "Hey, we have like 100K to put towards this initiative." If you had the
Hmm.
ability to say, "All right, cool. Well, let's throw two guys in there part-time and then I'll run it at no cost and you don't need to pay me for the next year while we figure it out.
Hmm.
But I'd like 20% of it." you
Yep.
know, because he's
Hmm.
going to allocate resources from his IT department and all this other stuff that you wouldn't get
Yep.
to do on your own. And so now you get to kind of like partake as an entrepreneur, but now you've got all these resources that you wouldn't have if you were just solo.
Hmm.
So it's almost like
Absolutely.
you're partnering with them.
Yep.
There, there's
It is like
upsides
that.
to that, but
Hmm.
maybe your boss isn't into that, and that's fine because you can
Yeah,
go start your own company with this
exactly. You have the choice. Yeah.
same concept. So anyway, I think that I don't know. I can see the dichotomy in what like setting an achievable goal versus
Hmm.
setting a stretch goal, because an achievable goal, like you're like, oh yeah, I can see getting there, but at the same time I understand the theory, hey, I'm gonna set a goal so high that if
Hmm.
I miss my
Absolutely.
moonshot, I'm still halfway to the moon, whereas I only would have, barely gotten off the ground had I gone with a
Hmm.
smaller goal.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm always revisiting the goal, and every few months or so. So
Yeah.
this could definitely change. Depends on a lot of life factors, so it's not
Yeah.
set in stone.
Well, the problem with our goals is if you like, especially in real estate, let's say we wanted to make 200K a month,
Hmm.
and our goal was to do that in 5 years. Most likely, the only answer is go raise money and start a fund.
Yeah,
I
or
don't want to
just
deal with other people's money.
yeah, yeah. That's true. Or you can do the seller finance route, like Christian and Cody, and go commercial and
There's
like
so much risk there.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like their
That
model.
should be another video we should make.
Yeah.
This seller financing stuff, but
But it is interesting because where your goal is could change the way that you approach it. As I think
mhm.
that's important to bring up. And that's why I always kind of have more of a stretch goal, because in my mind, that's going to change the way that I approach and the way that I build out the steps of achieving that goal. Whereas if the goal was smaller, maybe the structure of how I got there would be different. So
Okay.
that's kind of the way I think about it. So anyway, if you don't have
Alrighty.
anything else,
I think that is all. What should you what's our recommendation
I think goals are
for
personal.
asking when should you quit?
I think it's a personal choice, but I mean, I personally wouldn't even consider it unless I had
Hmm.
probably 3x what I needed in case there's a downturn, you know?
Yeah. I
Because
would say when you want to reach that step where you have the freedom of choice, and then that's when you should make that decision.
yeah, yeah, I agree. And that's the thing. It's a super personal
Hmm.
topic. You really have to sit down and do the numbers and figure out what it is you're comfortable with.
Yep.
But that's the thing, you got to do the math. Most people probably haven't done the math.
Yeah.
So anyway, we appreciate everybody for watching. Give us a like and subscribe if we gave you anything of value or you want to keep hearing our content. Hopefully you do. Give us feedback, negative or positive. Give Radeon a follow, like and subscribe. Have a good day.